Hey there, everybody. I hope you are doing well. Always good to be here with you, checking in on this Wednesday morning. Tax day for many people. That deadline is here. Uh, Interesting. Not necessarily going to read on this right now, but really interesting point being brought up that with all of the horrible things that are going on around immigration, keep $20 billion is the estimate that I saw through several sources, you all, of the income through income taxes that come through immigrant workers here in the States, whatever their status happens to be, but we know that they pay income taxes. And so there was a couple articles I saw about, of the many challenges that immigrants are facing right now in the country is the decision whether or not to even file, because of course then that's record keeping, and what's the DHS going to do with that? But $20 billion, you all, but that was news to me. That's something. That's really something to consider in terms of the threats and safety aside in terms of immigration policy and reform to policy. But with everything else happening that is increasing the tenuous nature of our economy right now, thinking about, taxpayer dollars and those dollars being spent to fund a war that nobody even understands why it is, and threats that we're hearing coming up to money not being there in 7 years, 2032, we're hearing for Social Security, Medicare, you got it. So that's a really interesting, another segment to that as well. Want to look at today, we're hearing something, whispers about another peace deal, another attempt at a peace deal with Iran, right? And I don't know about you all, but I'm like, well, what changed? What changed? Like, you gonna send JD back for another shot? Not to mention talk about his recent sling of humiliating events. Did you all hear he was at the TP Turning Point USA? They launched this college crusade thing to try and keep their young voters engaged and to keep Turning Point relevant. And they showed, there's videos all over the internet where this arena in Georgia, University of Georgia, one of their campuses, held like 8,000 people, and there were less than 2,000 people, right? Like just empty seats everywhere. In addition to that, Vance was getting heckled by many of these, these are the MAGA folk, young MAGA folk, crucial voting bloc, saying, talking about the killing of children in relation to Iran, etc. So the streak of humiliation just keeps, just continues. Not to mention that Erica, CEO, call it such, of Turning Point, now TPUSA, didn't show, citing security concerns. Now, security was good enough that you were able to host, as a featured speaker, the Vice President of the United States, but security wasn't good enough for you. Okay. All right. Spirit. In the what we're hearing is the another round of peace negotiations with Iran. Will Russia be the one that helps strike a peace deal? Because they're saying that they are willing to be the custodian, if you will, of Iran's uranium. And we're hearing that the uranium issue was what really broke apart the prior negotiations that Vance supposedly oversaw. That was a hard line in the sand, that they had Iran was being required to say, listen, we won't deal with any uranium, we will not try to build nuclear weapons, point blank, period. Not for 5 years, not for 10, we just won't do it. So now we're understanding Putin has joined the chat and said, I tell you what, we'll be the custodian of their uranium. If they don't have it, they can't build it. Is that good enough for you? We're being told that could be Putin's way of helping Trump save face and find an exit that otherwise it looks like he doesn't have. So, what does that do? Once again, puts Trump deeper in Putin's pockets, right? Not that he could get any deeper. He's already down in there with the lint, right? But that's the game plan. Spirit. Will Will Russia play a key role in a ceasefire agreement with the Iran war? as custodian of their uranium. Will this work? We have the King of Cups that comes at the bottom of the deck. That's somebody within the negotiations. I don't see that as Putin's energy at all. I don't know who that is. Maybe somebody on the Iranian side. The Ten of Swords. I want to cross that. And the Ace of Pentacles. Got it. Thank you, Spirit. Like, okay, we'll make it clear for you. Because it's reached a crescendo. This is Trump's energy. Putin trying to give Trump a way to save face and have some sort of exit. So there's the Ten of Swords. Absolutely coming to a head in terms of what is my way out. The Ace of Pentacles, this is your way out by allowing us to come into the talks, not directly. I think this will be strictly between Russia and Iran. We know that Russia has been supplying Iran with satellite imagery. They've been assisting them during this effort. So to the extent that Iran has a relationship with and trusts Russia, this could be a thing. Spirit, will this work? Will we see a ceasefire agreement based on Russia coming in? King of Wands. Now that's Putin. Will there be a deal worked where Russia takes custodianship? King of Swords. That's Trump. So that's the two of them talking about it. Putin and Trump trying to work something out, helping Trump, save face, get out of there. Queen of Swords. And the World, an end. I see this as a yes. Spirit, there is a role that Russia will play, even on the back end of it. Will they take, are you showing me with this world, they will become the custodian of Iran's the Eight of Swords, the King of Pentacles. This is the Iranian leadership and the Star. They're open to it. It's not a done deal, though, because the Eight of Swords is, at this point, it's sad to say, but it is what it is. It's also logical. At this point in that Eight of Swords energy, the Iranian leadership, and that's who I see in this King of Pentacles here, is very, very skeptical even of what would appear to be an ally up to this point in the war, such as Putin and Russia. But there's the Star. And that's a sign of saying, essentially, Iran, for all of its incredible ability to resist and put up the fight thus far and shock the world with its ability to do so and its willingness to continue to do so, ultimately they want an end to this as well. It's not sustainable for anybody. And there's the Six of Pentacles, negotiation. I think it's not a slam dunk, but I think there's a really good chance, you all, that Russia is going to find a way to become a part of this ceasefire arrangement. And even though clearly they're not going to take part in the talks directly, but there is a good chance that if they can alleviate Iran's fears and skepticism, because this is something where Iran would be saying, we will give it all to you to hold. You are the custodian of it. You're not the owner of it, but you're the custodian of it. That's going to be real interesting. All right, second thing I want to look at today. Abigail Spanberger, governor of Virginia, has made some more moves recently, and now we understand that Virginia has joined this. I didn't even know about this. It is called I want to say it right, the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. Woo, that's a mouthful. But the Npvic, National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. This is a compact that has been happening, you all, apparently, and very much in response to the 2020 and 2024 presidential elections And even I think going back to that, to the Hillary Clinton, back when Trump became 45. So this topic, many of you have heard of this, the Electoral College versus the popular vote, and the idea that a candidate could win the popular vote, and as you all know, based on the Electoral College, still lose out. So there are now, we're understanding there would have to be 270 electoral votes collectively among states who agree to this popular vote compact in order for it to become law, in order to actually change the electoral system. Well, guess what? Now that Spanberg of Virginia is in the mix, we understand now there are 19 states that have signed on to this compact. And those 19 states comprise 82% or 222 electoral votes, you all. That is not a whole way away from the necessary 270. There are several states that are up in the mix, talking about potential swing states that are in the mix, and they're zeroing in on especially midterms, and then 28 stakes getting higher and higher. Arizona, keep your eyes on Arizona, Michigan, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. Those are 4 states that are in contention. I'm not sure if those 4 states, if they signed on to the compact, if that would carry them over the 270 threshold for the compact to actually be like, okay, we got it, let's change this law. But that's what I want to go to Spirit and ask. If, in fact, we will get enough states to sign on, 19 so far. As you would imagine, most of the blue states, you can look it up on the internet and see there are even maps out there that are showing which states have signed on. But if we're going to ditch the Electoral College, in addition to all the other changes that we know are going to have to happen and people are going to want to happen and demand, if we're going to ditch the Electoral College and go with the popular vote, let's see. Thank you. Will there be enough states to sign on to this compact, Spirit, to get to the 270 necessary to go with the popular vote? Spirit said, let me make it easy for you. Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. And the 9 of Cups, because it is the wish of the people, and I'm not going to ignore it because it's a major arcana. We have death at the bottom of the deck. End of a way of doing things and a rebirth of another way of doing things. And that death coming with a nice, juicy, lovely card like a 9 of Cups. The will of the people, the desire of the people coming in cups, emotions, right? The buildup of that. This would be a satisfying conclusion to what even and Spirit is saying, reminding me, even those who are disenchanted with both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, maybe don't, independent, whatever, disenchanted with the system in general, the idea that, a vote is a vote is a vote versus this whole Electoral College thing, I feel like that's the 9 of Cups, that people would feel ready to get more engaged and to get out and vote. And the impetus to vote is going to be huge. Like getting people to really buy in. Here is why you need to vote. Yes, we saw what happened in Hungary and 80% turnout. But what does it take to get that? The Magician. Okay. The Magician. This deck is working today, by the way. I put it up in case I know I have a lot of readers on the channel. This is the Gold Lear Tarot. LGBTQ friendly deck, by the way. So, and I love it. All right. The Magician, y'all. There are going to be more states that sign on to this. The momentum, the need for it, in order to get the mobilization, increased mobilization among people to vote and to believe that their vote will count. And justice. Let me just put this deck down because our work here today is done. Bam. All right. Keep your eyes on that, you all. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to get, I don't know when, but the momentum of this is going to continue. All right. Chin up. I hope that encouraged you. Chin up. Shoulders back. Breathe. Sky above us and the earth beneath us. All right. I'll check in with you a little bit later. Bye.